And first of all, let me thank you guys for coming out and coming and seeing our new facilities. It's a great and important part of what we do to get our message out, and I wanted to thank you for coming to see it first and foremost. This is a project that obviously we've worked long and hard on, and I want to first and foremost really thank our philanthropic donors for really making this thing happen in a big way. It accounted for 20% of the financing of this project. Couldn't have done it without them. And their generosity and their gifts. We're sitting in a room named after Jim Houston, for instance, is a great example of what this is about, what this university is about. It's about doing things in a community spirit and in a good way. And I just want to make that point first and foremost that, hey, this couldn't have been done without it. Secondly, and as importantly, along the way I've had really good partners to work with as far as my bosses. That's the Board of Regents over the past few years, as well as President Emmert, President Phyllis Wise, and currently President Michael Young. They've been great supporters. They've been fantastic advocates on behalf of the university, and I wanted to thank them as well. Also wanted to identify several key folks in this project. Obviously, Wright Runstead, our lead developer in this project, with the team that they chose, and 360 Architects, Turner Construction, and Howard S. Wright, and turning this terrific project into what our vision was, into a great reality. I couldn't be more pleased with what's happened and which this stadium is transformed, and this project is transformed into. The other thing I want to talk about is what we were able to accomplish in the scope of work, and how we did this with project costs in a crazy expensive place. And it's remarkable to consider the amount of work we accomplished for that cost in only 21 months. And that is something to be noted, and it's something that I'm very impressed with and couldn't be more happy with for what we had. I know you got to tour it, and this project's obviously going to have great impact on the fan experience, and of course it's going to have great impact on our football program, because that's what this is about. And with that, I will answer any questions you guys may have.
Scott, you came from the SEC, and everybody regards that as the best football conference in the country. You've seen every stadium down there. When you started building this, and is this the vision that you saw? How does it compare to what you see at LSU, Alabama, Florida State?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we can compete with anyone now as far as facilities. I'm very comfortable saying that with this new happening in football and with this new facility. That this is as good as it gets. It's efficient, it's done well, it's done classy, it's done in a way that fits who we are as far as University of Washington in the Northwest with our sensibilities, but it's also really top notch, and that's what is really impressive about this, and I'm happy to put it up against anyone's as far as doing it the right way, in my opinion.
Scott, when you see it now, you visualize it and everything else, what part do you feel like this short-term, long-term is going to be the most important part of this thing?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I get asked all the time. I talked to Mitch Levy this morning about it, and Hugh Millen asked me, what is your favorite piece of the project? And it's like children, you love them all for different reasons. And I walk in here and I'm just wowed. I walk in football ops upstairs and just go, wow. Walk into the weight room, walk into the training room, walk into the premium seating area, walk into the concourse here and see everything. I really love everything about it, and I think we've captured those two important elements that we strove to really accomplish, which is keep the tradition of Husky Stadium, the feel that we've had for decades here, while giving the fans and our recruits in the Football Operations Center a new experience, and an experience that's modern, that allows us to compete and to get them to come to our games. So it's hard to nail me down on one specific piece of this project.
When you look at what this stadium from an operational standpoint is compared to what was here 2 or 3 years ago, how much work have you been involved with in your staff as far as planning the operational, sustaining, everything from maintenance, keeping this incredible facility up? Have you had to change what was in place 2 years ago a lot?
You know, I think we pretty much got it right. I mean, I was very lucky to have very good people around me, and I failed to mention my opening remarks. I mean, Chip Whitem and Stephanie Rimp and Jen Cohen and Odie Vincent and everyone involved in this project from day one. Our great stadium committee folks that actually selected our development team. Just everyone involved with it. We were so prepared to get it right and to do it right that, you know, I don't think there's anything we really blatantly or obviously missed. I think there are a lot of things, there'll be hiccups, and hopefully we the fans won't see them and you won't see them, but we'll know about them as far as staff goes. But I hope for the most part it's an enjoyable experience, but there's nothing, boy, would you change anything? Probably not. You know, not. Ask me 6 months from now, and I may have a different opinion when we actually experience going through it. But right now, I think we nailed it pretty good.
During that 21 months, no huge surprise.
No,
oh my God.
We didn't have that.
No,
I used to joke with Art about this. I said, you know, please don't be an Indian burial site in the middle of Husky Stadium. You know, that was my nightmare. I'd wake up, you know, sweating like, oh my God, you know, this is going to kill this project. And I always would press Chip and Bob Collier, all right, what is our, you know, when are we going to get out of the woods? When's our exposure piece? All right, 70%, 50%, 40%, 30%. And I was like, come on, let's go. Nothing bad's going to happen, guys. Promise me. And I had that piece, and we never had it. We were very lucky from that standpoint.
When it comes to the view obstructed seats, when was the idea to put those in? Was that in from the beginning?
I'm sorry?
The view obstructed seats?
Uh-huh.
When was the idea to put those in? And can you talk like how many there are, and kind of was that more to get it to 70,000?
I'm going to let Chip explain that.
Well, I don't think you attempt to have view obstructed seats. I think you're working with geometry of the other north grandstand, and then you have some sort of geometric equations that have to be in place, and ultimately it sort of cascades to that impact. But it's very minimal. It's in probably the, I guess you would say, places that are very low impact to the fan. You know, those are priced accordingly. But we actually improved the seating views, especially low. Those all used to be view obstructed. The first 7 or 8 rows, all view obstructed. Those are all pristine, beautiful views now. So we actually sort of flipped the mousetrap. Used to be the bad seats were at the bottom. Now the less attractive seats, anything that's view obstructed, is more away from the field. So we actually sort of turned it to where it ought to be.
Scott, can you sort of talk about how this positions your football program in terms of the arms race of college football and the whole, you know, this is obviously done to generate revenues and put you on top there with the work with all those other programs.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. I think the investment we've made into Husky football and into this great facility, it puts us on par with anyone in the BCS. I think from a facility standpoint, we can compete. Now, we still have a lot of work to do as far as the football team. Everyone knows that, and I'm not here to talk about that. But, you know, we want to win championships, and this is what this facility is about, and that's where we want to be, and that's how we're going to get there.
That's trickling down to the rest of your athletic programs. That has to be a huge boost.
It really is. That's a great question. It's freed up a bunch of time and a bunch of facility spaces and office spaces for them, you know, so they don't have to practice and do things from a weightlifting standpoint and a training standpoint at odd times. The time slots are better for all of our student athletes, and it's a win-win and it's a bonanza. Like I've said before, you know, if someone, a parent in gymnastics asked me, how can we support the Husky athletics to buy season tickets to football? It's the best thing you can do.
Scott, before your predecessor, Todd Turner, he came here to the ACC and said that he was astonished at how behind the facilities were here. What part of that was, how did you incorporate that notion that you obviously saw the same thing in your pitch to donors to make them realize that their contribution was critical to get this where it is?
Well, I think a number of things. I think that the realization is that we had to do it, and that the program was in really dire straits at the time, especially when I came in, that they knew something had to change, and they had to believe. And whether it was me or Coach Sarkisian or whoever laid out this vision, that we had to do it, and that was part of it. It became glaringly obvious not only to our fans but our supporters and our philanthropic supporters.